friendly border between Canada and the United States isn't so friendly to some students. College athletes are eager to take advantage of new rules that allow them to collect some pay, and during the pandemic, pets can help your mental health. Those stories and more next on Bobcat Report. COVID-19 has meant a change in rules about crossing the US-Canada border. Many people are frustrated that they can't get into our neighbor to the north.
Even with the reopening of the United States amid increasing vaccination rates, Canada has remained relatively blocked off to citizens and visitors alike. This closure has been in effect to protect their citizens from potential spreads of COVID-19, but it has left many families disconnected and separated since the beginning of the pandemic in March of 2020. In the case of Barb Searles, a permanent resident living in the U.S., she hasn't seen her son or relatives since June 2020 and has no timeline on when she will again.
I'm pretty angry that I can't travel freely to visit my family. My son's over there. I would love to be able to see him. We haven't seen him in over a year. But I understand to some degree their concerns with keeping their citizens safe. But it's frustrating that it has been so slow to open up.
Within Canada, the prospect of citizens being able to return back into the country if they leave is difficult, but not impossible. For American citizens residing in Canada, that idea is virtually none. As of July 5th, Canadian citizens that are essential workers are allowed to return to Canada without quarantine, but the same cannot be said for American permanent residents. For Lindsay Rayborn, a master's student at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada has morphed from an exciting venture in her life into a prison cell.
No, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't let me back in if I left because I don't technically have to be here. I've been working from home since everything started, so I hate Canada more and more every day, just for many reasons, but the fact that I can't leave is a big one.
Increasing vaccination rates in both countries are leading to an ease in restrictions, but not at the border. College athletes can now cash in on their images and autographs. India Mack says they're trying to figure out just how that will work.
Many college athletes have been waiting for this opportunity to take advantage of the new policy. This is an important adaptation for all student athletes, but it does preserve the commitment to avoid pay-for-play and improper inducements tied to choosing a particular school. University of North Texas athlete Damani Douglas shares his views on the adaptation of the new policy.
I think college athletes should have been gotten paid, especially because they bring money into the school, so it's not fair to the athletes if they don't get any money from it, especially the big athletes bring in millions and millions of dollars. It's not fair to the college athletes because they work so hard. If they don't get no money for it, I just don't think that's right. So I think it's finally good that they're getting paid for it now.
Douglas wasn't the only one who felt that this policy should have been put in place a long time ago. Andre Ransom, a former athlete at the University of Minnesota, says they should be receiving nearly as much money as professional athletes.
I think college students should get paid, yes. I agree with this movement. I think they should get paid because there's so many college players trying to make it to the league. They all can get that chance. So, they just gonna do what they can to get that money. I think they should get paid just as much as NBA players.
There's a growing trend around the country to shop ethically. That means relying more on clothing from thrift shops. Kyra Valilla reports.
It's always a good day for Rachel Case when she gets a chance to go to the thrift store. Thrifting is one of the most common ways to shop ethically, and Rachel has been doing it for almost 7 years. Through thrifting, Rachel is able to pick out the most eclectic pieces to fit her style.
So I usually have a general, vague what I'm looking for. I usually wear patterned, crazy shirts. So I'll just go and be I need something funky. And so I'll just kind of skim through, and whatever kind of catches my eye, I'll grab it.
Other than getting great deals or leaving with a unique wardrobe, thrifting also helps the environment. According to a Pebble Mag article, due to the synthetic fibers in our clothing, decomposition can take up to 200 years. We ask Rachel what she does to the clothes that she no longer wants.
I'll start by reselling it on apps like Depop, Poshmark. Then I start to look to redonate it, either schools, domestic violence shelters, homeless shelters.
Brands like Forever 21 or Fashion Nova are big names in the fashion industry, and they are notorious for having unsafe and inhumane environments for their workers. Although Rachel does not support businesses like these, she shares her tip on how to avoid shopping from an unethical market.
If prices are suspiciously low, do your research first to find out why they're so low, and then just use your best judgment.
To ensure a great, sustainable, and ethical shopping experience, Rachel suggests bringing a friend, like her friend Cameron, who tells us her favorite part about thrifting.
My favorite thing about thrifting is every time you go into the store, you never know what you're gonna find, and it's always a new aesthetic. So, just like variety, I guess.
Although the fast fashion industry isn't showing signs of slowing down anytime soon, the first step is to acknowledge the issue and bring awareness to it. Kyra Villela, Bobcat Report.
When we come back, a look at the fast food business. Have you noticed how many more fast food restaurants have popped up around San Marcos? Kennedy Sutton has.
San Marcos' new food chains have brought many flavors from around the world and have been working hand in hand with the community to provide better experience for locals. Javier Chapas, the general manager at the new sandwich shop, Ike's Sandwiches. Chapas says Ike's Sandwiches have influenced the community by bringing a unique cuisine, all while having great deals.
I believe we've brought in like really good food here that's really unique from California, bringing the California flavor here. We've been offering a lot of students like student discounts and whatnot, and we've been giving out a lot of promos and stuff like that. I feel like we're kind of just expanding the San Marcos in general as the city is expanding.
Another local worker, William Johnson, a shift lead at Menchie's, says students are loving the new varieties and have even found these new places to be a great spot to study at.
We got a lot of students coming in here, maybe not recently just because it's like summer, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. But generally throughout the school year, we do see a lot of students coming in here with their laptops, like doing their homework, whatever they can.
The new restaurants have been a big hit here in San Marcos. All of the new food chains have been able to benefit San Marcos in their own unique way, whether it is a good meal, a place to study, or even a new experience. Locals have made the best out of this new expansion and are enjoying the variety. Be sure to come check out our new local restaurants and take a walk around the square to find a bite from around the world. For Bobcat Reports, I'm Kennedy Sutton.
Some of those restaurants are small businesses that have had trouble surviving during the pandemic. Chris Santiago visited one and shows how they got by.
Tortas La Reina is a family-owned business that has been up and running since 2010. They offer different varieties of food such as gorditas, tacos, enchiladas, quesadillas, and their most requested, tortas. The tortas are made of French bread, tomatoes, onions, avocado, cheese, mayonnaise, and your choice of meat. They also offer aguas frescas such as horchata, agua de Jamaica, and lemonade. I managed to sit down with the owner as she explains the duties they do before opening up. Let's see, we cook the fajita and all the meats that we're going to need. We go buy the French bread early in the morning, and the business is already clean because we make sure to clean it the night before. And from there, all we do is wait for the clients to come by. Food prices vary depending on what you order. Jacob Aguilar here explains the cost of each item and the reason as to why some of these prices have gone up.
Prices are, right now they've gone up a bit, knowing how the pandemic affected a lot of stuff and it slowed down a lot of things. It went up. Torta used to be $4, went up to $6.75 now. But it just didn't go up just like that. Over time it went up. The burrito, $6. Enchiladas can be $7 to $9 depending on what meat you want.
As COVID-19 outbreaks continue to decline, this small business, as well as many others, plan to remain open. Chris Santiago, Bobcat Report.
When people think of professional recording studios, they typically think of them being based in LA, New York, or Houston. But one Texas State alumnus is changing that by making SoundLab Studios in San Marcos the new place to record. Bobcat Report's Aaron Melcher has the story.
In the last couple years, Sam Hines, who is a Texas State alum, has established himself as a go-to audio engineer in the Central Texas area. With over 6 years of experience, he provides a reliable place for artists to record.
The main motivation for kind of doing what I do now and developing it this way was to give people access to a super good sounding rooms, super good sounding mics, like really high quality engineering that they might have never heard before and never had access to.
Fortunately for Sam, the business didn't stop during the pandemic. He found ways to work with artists and continue keeping his studio alive.
We just had a lot of really strict precautions in place for in-person sessions, and I did do a lot more online mixing.
One of the artists Sam has worked with frequently is Hello Desperado, who is a talented vocal musician based out of Austin, Texas.
He's going to make sure you get your money's worth. He doesn't slack. He doesn't lag. Great studio, great environment.
If you're an artist or musician looking for a professional setting to record, mix, and master, SoundLab Studios is a great choice. Sam Hines is dedicated to providing high-quality service and ensures that the music you create will sound polished and professional. Aaron Melcher, Bobcat Report.
Lots of students go far away for summer jobs, which can lead to some unexpected problems. We'll have that story when Bobcat Report returns.
Where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened? Your friend's not breathing. She's dead? Please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
One of our reporters, John Stacks, has a summer job up in the mountains at Glacier National Park. He has the story of a coworker who went on a hike and had coworkers worried when she didn't come back.
All of Sunday, workers here were concerned one of their fellow workers went missing. There had been 2 bear maulings in Glacier National Park within the last week, which is alarming when compared to the total of 10 maulings that has happened in the last 50 years. Willow Baker was new to the area, and many believed that she had went on a hike and had not come back.
I was trying to figure out where she may have gone, if she mentioned any kind of trail that she had been wanting to do, or if there's anyone that had seen her go anywhere at least.
There wasn't a lot to be done, except to hope she came back. There's no cell service in the area, so there's no way to contact her. Lucky for us, she ended up coming back one night, perfectly safe.
She had gone on a hike with a group of friends and didn't tell anyone, and ended up getting lost.
We were hiking down from the scree field and we got lost, and it was starting to get dark out, and we started to panic a little bit, and we got sidetracked a couple of times, and then we looked it up on AllTrails and we found our way back eventually.
Most people that work here aren't survival experts. They're college students like you and me, without extensive knowledge and survival skills. But knowing basics go a long way, such as making sure people know where you're going when you go hike in the mountains.
One more day and we would have had to call NPS to get a search going. But lucky for us, we didn't have to. This has been John Sachs with Bobcat Report.
This summer saw the return of an old favorite in San Marcos. Joshua Mata says vinyl records are alive and well at Sundance Records.
Here we are at Sundance Lagoon Records, right across from Craft House on LBJ Drive. If you remember, their old store used to be on University where Icy Rolls is. But here, they found their new home. Let's go take a look. Sundance is back, baby. Long live rock and roll. After a 9-year hiatus, the beloved record store is back in San Marcos and is ready to sell some vinyl to the locals and, of course, some Texas State Bobcats.
We wanted to bring it back. I'm the owner, my husband and I. Yes, I'm not normally here behind the counter, but our manager's off today, so I told him I'd work. I went to school here. I worked at Sundance from 1994 to 1996. So, and what we wanted to do is kind of mainly open it up to the locals, before college came, and just kind of do our soft opening, which we did.
Jennifer is a San Martian through and through. What her and her husband bring to Sundance is a record selection that will keep music lovers coming through their doors for a long time.
What happened today is there were students that came in, they got super excited about the jazz. Yes, there's a lot of rock, pop, rap, but I think there's going to be a lot of people buying jazz records too. And so this is a good placement for them right here. So it's nice to be immersed back in this. I've kind of stepped away for a while because I teach. So this summer I'm off of teaching, so immerse myself back into the music.
What also helps Jennifer is her workers. Being a record store in a college town means you hire the youth.
Yes. What drew me to it was just kind of, I've always been into vinyl because my dad worked at the original Sundance back in the day, so I grew up with vinyl, listened to a lot of vinyl, and there's no store around here. So like when I found out there's gonna be a store, I was like, that'd be a cool job to have. I mean, it depends on what you're into, but the one that I think everybody should listen to is Nevermind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols by the Sex Pistols. That's what I would recommend everybody.
What makes Sundance so great is their selection of records. Ariana was kind enough to give me a quick tour of the store and show off their many genres.
On the other side, the soul and the R&B, all that good jazz. All through the middle is just like rock, pop, kind of everything mixed in. On the sidewall, we got country right there. And then next to that is the rap, the hip-hop, comedy, sound effects, world and international, some soundtracks.
Sundance isn't going anywhere anytime soon. When asked about how younger people are buying more and more records, here's what Jennifer had to say.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch because, you know, to us it's just a feel-good thing, something that we grew up with, and for them, I think it's a novelty of it, you know, they hadn't seen it. It's like, oh, this is cool, this is a cool new thing, or whether their parents, you know, listened to it, or whoever they were influenced by, and, you know, people just, they loved it, you know. I mean, you look at the art, you can touch it, you can feel it, the sound of it, it's what everybody says, so.
Sundance Records is located on 237 North LBJ Drive and is open from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. For Bobcat Update, I'm Joshua Mata.
Pet adoptions have gone up during the pandemic, and Noah Prothro says one surprising result is that pets can improve our mental health.
According to the Human Animal Bond Research Institute, 74% of pet owners that were surveyed noticed significant improvements to their mental health due to pet ownership. Stress, anxiety, and isolation are just a few of the issues that raising a pet can help relieve.
I think my pets really helped me during the pandemic because when I couldn't see friends or family, I still got to spend time with my pets and I felt less lonely. It also gave me an opportunity to go outside and get active, whether that be taking my dogs on a walk or going to the park.
In a study conducted by the University of York, 90% of individuals reported that their pets helped them to cope during the initial COVID-19 lockdown. Stress, anxiety, and loneliness are just a small portion of the many symptoms that can help to be relieved with pet ownership.
We got my dog Puppy during the pandemic, and just by moving around and just being here, it's helped me interact with something other than my parents for one whole year, which has helped me just be happier because my parents only used to talk about school when school was around, which really stressed me out. But having a dog around really just brightened my mood.
Maintaining a positive mental health status is one of the most important tasks to focus on during the pandemic's isolation. And with a pet by your side, you won't have to take that journey alone. Noah Prothro, Bobcat Report.
That's our news for this week. I'm Sam Searles. Join us again next week for another edition of Bobcat Report.